Pardon?
A shy little boy wouldn't protect them, helpless and timid as weak as a girl. Watching my people, dogs ate my father, my mother killed him.
That was her head.
Where's the wizard who killed my mother? Still, I can recall his terrible gaze. Where are the two snakes facing each other? If you're my God, then show me the way. I'm on the pan, chopping up bodies, cutting and slicing, and look at me now. Loyal friends joining my party, each step I take I'm fulfilling my vow. Crush your enemies, see them living before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. Hear the lamentation of the women. Crush your enemies, see them living before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. Hear the lamentation of the women. God, show me the wizard who killed my mother. I never prayed to you before. Still, what would I give if you could help me see this through? And if you do not listen, then the hell with you. Now, where are the two snakes racing each other? Now, if you're my God, then show me the way.
It's my favorite.
Justice has begun, they murdered them all. I'm the last one, I issued the call. Revenge for my mom, I pray to you. Crush your enemies, see them driven before you.
And hear the lamentation of the women.
You know how we were talking about, like, is there the best song and the bad song?
That's both.
Yeah.
Both at once.
Yeah.
Obviously, this wasn't really Arnold singing, as far as I know.
It sounded like him. I thought it was.
Sounded
That's why I was laughing.
I think it's a guy that's doing
Fair.
it.
Yeah, he might be
He does a couple others. He's got Rocky
Yeah.
doing one, and I apologize, by the way. I should have given you a trigger warning before you saw the violence and before you saw the value system that this represents. Right? I mean, that's not politically correct today. How did it change? How did justice change from that? If you ever actually saw the original movie, right? You know, they're sitting around the fire and say, "What is good?" They all talk like Arnold, you know? What is good? Broken English, you know, which is a real clue that this is just a fake movie, not a real life situation, right? They all speak broken English. What is good? And the answer is the chorus. Kill your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women. Right? That is good. And if you think about Achilles as a live example of this, that was the justice of that period. Why was Achilles so amazing? Because he was huge and he could kill anybody. Take any women he wanted, even Briseis of the fair cheeks, etc. Right? So we got a sudden shift in just a couple of 100 years, because now Plato, who's trying to figure out the abstract order of the world, the good, at the top of it, right, comes up with justice as the virtue, and it's the important one that enables individuals to have a good life when you have a balance in yourself, and it's the justice of a state that also has a balance. How do we get to this argument? Well, it starts off with the argument of the tradition, the interest of the stronger. The just would be the interest of Achilles. He's the stronger. What he wants, that's what we, okay, Achilles, yes, okay. You're the boss, right? Well, but there are some problems with this that come up through the dialogue, right? So we end up, well, how about this one? Tell the truth and pay your debts. And that seems to work pretty good. Everybody seems to like that. Until we get to the famous white lie situation, where you're at the bar and your friend gives you his keys and says, don't give them back to me if I'm drunk, right? And of course he goes and he gets drunk. He knew he was going to get drunk. And then he knew you were the one with the keys, and he was going to come back and I got me my keys. And your job as his best friend is to not give him the keys. I'm sorry, your wife came by, I gave them to her. You lie to him. So tell the truth and pay your debts. If that's the ideal here, you're supposed to tell the truth. I have your keys right here. You're twice my size, but I'm not going to give them back to you, especially now that you're drunk and violent. That's not the best time for you to tell the friend no, right? And so you lie for the best interest of your friend, right? We think that's okay. It's okay if you lie under those kind of conditions, right? Then the one that they settle on is Geho, which is G-E-H-O. Remember the chants, right? Geho. Give to each his own, right? In other words, what we end up doing is figuring out that due to the nature of the soul, each of us are slightly different. And Plato breaks us up into three different types of people. There are those who are at the bottom of his pyramid. Let's see if I can find this. Should give me a pyramid. I didn't want the solids. All right, since they gave me the solids, I'll do the solids real quick. In mathematics, there's also 5 solids that are all the solids that you can have that have an equal number of sides. Yes, Matthew.
Technically, there are 44 of them.
Okay, well, for Plato and me, there were only these, because I never read the book that gives it 44.
Yeah. I mean,
Some of them got to be huge.
there's some loopholes in there. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
I think at least 8 of them are infinite, technically.
Okay. Had to happen. Had to happen. But these are the 3-sided, 4-sided, 6-sided, 8-sided. Dodecahedron, is 20?
That's the bottom right one. That's 20.
That's 20. So basically, these are the solids. But that's not what I was looking for at the moment. How about this? Maybe that will help. No. Okay, so they don't want me to use pyramid. I do want types though. No, I don't want that either. Okay, since that came up, let me quick do that. What's a platonic relationship? You've heard of that?
Yes.
Theoretically, that's a relationship where two people love one another but are not intimate. Yes? Close? Okay. Well, why do we even have that? Thomas Hobbes, as we'll see, was one of the first translators of the Greeks into English. And it was a Christian nation at the time, and Christians would not have approved of certain of the relationships that we see in, say, the Lysis or the Symposium. And so the translators apparently all together decided to fudge things a little bit and make the relationships that Socrates is having with the others no sex. And as a result, it seems like people started referring to a platonic relationship as just an abstract relationship with no sex. New translations, if you go and you look, all kinds of jokes are obvious here. Clearly, they did have sex with young boys. That was their interest at the time. And by the way, I've received awards for being a mentor, and I'm like, oh. If you read about Mentor, he was actually the old man that was having sex with Thrasymachus, the son of Odysseus, and it was a good thing for them. You know, that was like, this is how we love one another as well as teach one another. And I'm like, okay, we don't go that way. I have never gone that way, you know. But the Greeks apparently did. That was kind of their thing. As a matter of fact, they couldn't love their wives that way. The wives, well, you know, she's kind of like a servant, you know. And you get your children from her, and maybe from her, and maybe from her, you know. But the one you love is the one that you can have an intellectual relationship with, which turns out to be your mentee.
That's just hardcore sexist.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, this is filthy stuff, actually, in our point of view. So, the idea of a platonic relationship is actually a mistake, really, if you think about it, that we ever did that. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the platonic. Okay, well, I'll just say we got a triangle. Imagine I have a triangle here. I can actually do a triangle. I have a device, so I'll do this. Here's a triangle. Bingo. I'm not looking for any more. And Plato breaks it up into three. And the bottom group are the people that are like the workers.
Yeah, I thought you just gonna write women on.
And the youth. You know, women too, I'm sure. He doesn't really discuss them too much. But, you know, let's put them here. Their motivation is stuff. They like stuff, like pizza, sex, new cars, big trucks, you know, stuff. They like stuff. What is the virtue of this class of people for Plato? It is temperance. Because what they need to be able to do is control how much stuff they get. They want just the right amount of stuff. So, you know, you get the pizza, you don't just kill all the people and eat the pizza yourself. You say, hey guys, pizza, and you share, and you each have 2 slices or whatever, right? So temperance is the virtue of this class. Now, some of the members of this class grow to become members of this class, which are, he calls it spirited class. That class is primarily motivated by the love of honor. People being proud of them, you know, the football player, you know, that's out there, you know, on Saturdays, you know, charging into the enemy, you know, boom, you know, they knock him over, you know, and he gets up and he boom again, you know, and, you know, the Eagles, by the way, are going to the Super Bowl. But, you know, and we're on the sidelines in our little skirts. Like, push him back, way back, push him back, way back, etc. Yay! You know, and those are the guys, you know. And they love it. They eat it up. You know, I'm beating myself to a pulp, but I'll do it again next Saturday because you know, when I got back home, everyone was all cheering me, etc., etc. You know, the jocks, they're the ones that get all the attention in high school, don't they? Well, maybe not. Yep. That's kind of tradition, right? Medals, the general, medals. There's some under here. There's so many of them, I have to, put them on both sides, that kind of thing. So the virtue of this group is courage. But you can't be an idiot. Like Alexander, jumping over the wall, leaving all of his men behind, and now he's inside the wall with all of the enemy. And you know what? That's pretty dumb. Until the other soldiers get over, and then, you think Aragorn, hopping down with Gimli and Legolas, to fight off the orcs, off the bridge, and you're thinking, that's pretty dumb, Why would you do that, So courage. Courage is one of those things you have to have enough to know when you can accomplish something, but also, and by the way, so notice there's balance in these, right, in temperance. And then the last group, who are the wise, or the philosopher kings, actually. I'll just put PK, the philosopher king, right? These are the ones who love wisdom, and they want to be wise. They're also known as the Aristoi, the best, right? Because of their interest in having wisdom, right? So this model of a republic, and by the way, republic is the Latin res publica, the public thing. In Greek, this book is called the Politica, because that's the politics, right? And so you have three virtues here: temperance, courage, and wisdom, right? Being wise. And together, if you can arrange the state to be like this, you end up with a fourth virtue, which is a virtue of the organization of the state, and that's justice. And remember, each individual strives for justice in the balance within themselves. So you have several different solutions brought up through this book that explain these different relationships.